What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, stimulus check update, and everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing, the stock market, you know it, we covered here on our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Help us reach our goal of 400,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're at 398,000 plus. And thank you so much for hitting the like button for us down below. You guys are amazing. In this video, we're going to go over an IRS stimulus announcement letter that they're sending out and how it could help you claim any stimulus money owed to you. We're going to go over that here in this video, as well as several different things here in this video. So let's jump right in. Yesterday in California, a major universal health care bill failed to pass in the state legislature. This would have been major news because if this passed in California, which is actually considered the sixth largest economy in the world at some points, this could have been potentially a future for the U.S. as well. If this would have passed, this could still be. Here's what happened. A bill in the California state legislature that would have created a system to provide universal health care failed to pass on Monday after Democrats were unable to gather the needed support for the legislation. Democratic state lawmaker Ash Carla, the author of the bill that failed to make it out of the state assembly, did not bring it up for a vote on Monday after realizing that there were not enough votes to pass it. The bill failed to meet a deadline by midnight on Monday in order to have a chance at becoming state law this year. Quote, "It became clear that we did not have the votes necessary for passage, and I decided that the best course of action is to not put AB 1400 for a vote today. Although the bill did not pass the assembly by today's deadline, this is only a pause for the single-payer movement. Our coalition, including the mighty California Nurses Association, will continue the fight for accessible, affordable, and equitable health care for all Californians." If passed, this bill would have made California the first state in the U.S. to have universal single-payer health care. Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon, a Democrat, also expressed a disappointment that the bill had not been brought up for a vote. Quote, "With time, we will have better and more successful legislation to bring us closer to this goal. I expect more and more of my colleagues to sign on so we can make California a health care justice leader." Note that the bill did not state how much universal health care in California would cost, with Democrats filing another bill that would impose heavy taxes on businesses and individuals in hopes of separating the two issues and pay for the proposed system. While previous studies have estimated that universal health care would cost around $350 billion, the Associated Press noted that California is currently on pace to pay over $500 billion in healthcare this year. A new report has just come out that the fiscal stimulus that was provided here powered the U.S. economy in 2021 to its best performance since 1984, showing that stimulus is actually one of the best ways to improve people's lives and the economy in a downturn. And because we're still seeing a lot of downturn and the Omicron variant is still keeping millions of people out of work, and there's still 25% of people here this year, like 80 million people, that cannot pay their bills. This shows that there is still tens of millions of people that need more stimulus support here in 2022. And the economy is still really struggling here as well. We've seen this here as the stock market here last week got crushed, absolutely hammered Today, the stock market is having a seesaw day. It's about flat. It's about even after the last 2 days had pretty big gains. After the last week or even more had significant losses. So stocks have kind of even today. So this will be a kind of telling day to see where the market goes here after this. Remember that about 50% or more of people do have money in the stock market through pensions, 401ks, retirements, IRAs, and even just regular money in the stock market nowadays. And that figure is growing even more as it's more and more easy and accessible to put money in the markets, even through apps, like Robinhood, Vanguard, Fidelity, and investment apps. It's just more and more easy to just put money in the market, and it's simple. And last year, the S&P 500 index, which is just the top 500 companies in the United States, returned about 27% return, a 27% gain on your money last year. And there's a significant dip in the market right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here going forward. So, in regards to this fiscal stimulus that powered the US economy in 2021, here's what it has to say. The US economy notched its strongest growth in nearly 4 decades in 2021 after the government pumped trillions of dollars in COVID relief and is seen forging ahead despite headwinds from the pandemic, strained supply chains, as well as inflation. A surge in gross domestic product in the fourth quarter as businesses replenished depleted inventories to meet strong demand for goods was the final push. Last year's robust growth reported by the Commerce Department on Thursday supports the Federal Reserve pivot towards raising interest rates in March. And that is a kind of a double-edged sword because it will cost the government more money in interest every single day, but it will help curb inflation. So, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Federal Chair Jerome Powell told reporters on Wednesday that after a 2-day policy meeting, that the economy no longer needs sustained high levels of monetary policy support. Now, this is in regards to the Fed's buying of bonds, fiscal stimulus. So the Fed is still buying bonds to keep interest rates low. That is a kind of artificial way that they're keeping interest rates low. Uh, in addition to interest rates being at or near zero. There's several different interest rates here. But in addition to interest rates being at or near zero, they're also buying bonds in the markets to artificially keep rates even lower than that. Okay. So the Fed is going to be tapering that off here to ease that off, to let that go and not provide that fiscal stimulus. It's a different type of stimulus than most of probably our viewers think. Stimulus, going to the people, stimulus going to, this is kind of stimulus for the economy. Okay. This is not like stimulus checks. Okay. This is a stimulus to the economy to keep interest rates low. But the problem is that this kind of added to inflation. Okay. So they're going to be stopping their bond buying stimulus program. Okay. There's several different type of stimulus per se. And this is the federal bond buying stimulus program that the Fed is going to be stopping now. The problem is they can't really stop it cold turkey. So they've kind of been easing this down here over the last several months. And they're going to be stopping it completely here over the next several months. So, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says that they no longer need to be buying bonds in that fashion, and it will soon be appropriate to raise interest rates. So, if you need to refinance your home, buy a car, or anything like that, do it soon because interest rates are really, really low. They're going to start creeping up a little bit at a time. While Omicron will lead to weaker growth in the first quarter, activity is expected to rebound nicely, they hope. Once the pandemic wave abates, again, they hope, and the supply chain glitches ease. Again, they hope, right? The Fed will need to be humble and nimble as it navigates underlying economic strength and worsening labor shortages and stubbornly high inflation. That's a lot of hope there, right? That's a lot of hope there. We hope that all that happens, right? President Joe Biden quickly took credit for the stunning performance, which he said was, quote, no accident. Biden's popularity is falling amid a stalled domestic economic agenda after Congress has failed to pass his signature $1.75 trillion Build Back Better legislation. Quote, we are finally building an American economy for the 21st century, and I urge Congress to continue this momentum by passing legislation to make America more competitive, bolster our supply chains, strengthen our manufacturing and innovation, invest in our families, quote key there, invest in our families, and lower kitchen table costs, Biden said in a statement. Yeah, two keys there, invest in our families and lower kitchen table costs. In the last video I did this, President Biden said that more money is coming. Definitely want to check that video out if you didn't see that. He said it directly to our state governors that there is more money coming. Okay, next up, this is from Yahoo News. IRS letter 6475 can help you claim any extra stimulus cash owed. 5 things you'll want to know. Yeah, several things here going forward. If you get this here in the mail, you want to keep this, and there's a couple things you're going to want to know about this. The third round of stimulus cash sent March through December of last year has already been spent by many families. But the stimulus program lingers into tax season, and we're dealing with new letters and potential tax credits. If you're missing money, you want to pay even more attention. The IRS began issuing what it calls letter 6475 in January. It's letters that offers details about your economic impact payments in 2021. This letter can help tax filers determine if they are owed more money and discover if they're eligible to claim the recovery rebate credit on their 2021 tax return when they file a return this year. Many people already received the full amount, but others did not. The recovery rebate credit isn't completely new. It was offered on 2020 tax returns when filed for the first 2 pandemic-related stimulus payments available in 2020. But, quote, there was no letter 6475 last year, said Mark Stieber from Jackson Hewitt. Stieber said this new letter is designed to help tax filers better figure out how much they actually received for the third stimulus payment last year. This can be tricky because you may have a joint filing married, you may have dependents, you may have missed a stimulus check for any of your dependents. It will be pretty important for anyone who is unsure if they are due more money. Last season, millions of mistakes were made on 2020 returns regarding the first 2 stimulus payments and triggered extra problems and longer delays in receiving refund cash. And this is one of the reasons why some people got their refunds kind of quickly, and some people are still waiting on their refunds today, even a year later. Data submitted by tax filers didn't match what the IRS had on file for stimulus payments because some filers made mistakes or rushed too quickly to file their returns. They guesstimated, they estimated, or they weren't sure. They tried to double dip, they weren't positive on the amount. Some people wrongly claimed the recovery rebate credit, money they were owed for stimulus on 2020 returns, even though they had received all the money they were eligible to receive in the 2 rounds of stimulus for 2020. The IRS had warned tax filers this year to be absolutely certain that the amounts you received last year for the monthly advance child tax credit payments and the economic impact payments, aka your stimulus check, match up with the government records and are entered correctly on your 2021 federal income tax return. If your data doesn't match, you end up in the IRS error resolution pile, and you're not going to be a happy camper. That's where you end up waiting forever for your refunds. Yeah. Quote, incorrect entries when reporting these payments mean the IRS will need further review the tax return, creating an extensive delay. Yeah, so if you end up waiting a long time for your refund, this is probably why. Not necessarily because of the stimulus part, but because something was wrong on your tax return, and whatever it was created the extensive delay. So that's probably why. If you're waiting a long time for your refund, it's probably because there was probably one thing wrong on your tax return. The maximum recovery rebate credit on 2020 returns amounts to $1,400 per person. That's your stimulus check if you didn't get it for any person. Remember, there's also your child tax credits and other type of tax credits as well, including all qualifying dependents claiming on the tax returns. A married couple with no dependents, for example, could qualify for $2,800. Key point, if you received your full amount in advance through the third stimulus payment, you would not qualify for any more money when you filed the return, and you do not claim the recovery rebate credit because you got your third stimulus checks. What could be confusing for some people this tax season is that the third stimulus payments didn't just arrive all at once for some families. The IRS issues what were called plus-up payments, or extra money in addition to the initial direct deposit for stimulus checks last year, for millions, but not all taxpayers who qualified for the stimulus money. So this IRS letter 6475 will give you a complete picture of the total amount of money for your 2021 stimulus payments, or all your payments from last year. Also, don't forget, if you or a family member or a friend had a new baby born in 2021, they are due a $1,400 stimulus check and a $3,600 child tax credit. They're due the child tax credit and the stimulus check for the whole year, a total of $5,000. But you have to claim it on a tax return. That's right. If you don't claim it on a tax return, $5,000 for the total of those two, you won't get it. If you had twins, you get $5,000 for each of them. But if you don't claim it, you won't get it. You won't receive it. That's right. So it's one of those things where if you don't have the knowledge, you won't receive the money. That's right. So that's why I'm here trying to, share this knowledge with everybody, because it's one of those things. You know how many people are going to miss out on this simply because they don't know this? Yeah, and the same thing was for 2020 as well. You know how many people probably missed out on that? You can actually go back and file an amended tax return, by the way, for 2020. If you or a family member had a baby in 2020, they're owed stimulus check 1, stimulus check 2 for those babies, and the child tax credits for 2020. Keep that in mind. There's probably many, many thousands of people who did not claim that. So I will keep you up to date here with everything. Share this video with your friends and families. Anybody that needs to know this information, have them join our community. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below and join our community here. It's completely free to do so. I'll keep you up to date with everything, and everything stimulus related, everything going on here in our country is completely free to subscribe. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this button here to watch my newest video next. And you can click this button here to see how you can claim a $1,500 to $6,700 for low-income Americans. So click on this one of these videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.